So, I guess we'll start with the tower defense game this time then. So I'm gonna just make a new scene. I'm gonna paste the I'm gonna paste the grid from last time in there on timeout, so I just have like a background. Let's see. Change the color so it's not completely ugly if we go outside of the bounds. I think we also changed the camera size last time because it was kind of clipping. I don't know. I'm gonna try to add something real quick just so it looks a little nicer. There was a road somewhere here. I have sprites for it somewhere. Way too many in here to find all at once. Let me see, because I have it in here too. So I need this middle one. Just here. Just give me a second. I need this sprite too, actually. So I made a new folder for tower defense. I have a thing for enemy vehicles, and I have a thing for our turrets that we can spawn. Sprites, whatever. I'm gonna drag this in. Let me try racing game tiles. Maybe it's this one. Change their size to 32 and to point. Let's see. Right there. That looks pretty good. Cool. So I'm going to go to this one to actually edit it. So we're going to just draw a little map. Oops. Grass. Something like that. Just so we know which path the enemy is going to take. And if they get to the end here, then you'll take damage. Give it a little... Yeah, that should be good. Cool. So, our AI is going to be really simple for this one. It's just going to move from waypoint to waypoint. So we'll spawn it over here off screen, and then it'll move to the right. And when it hits this, it'll move down, and then right, up, and then to the right. And when it hits the last waypoint, it'll just damage the player. So I'm going to make some scripts to start. So we need one for the game controller. So tower defense game controller. This is going to open, yeah, every time. I'm going to get out of the way real quick. We need a tower spawn. We need little places to click so we can spawn towers there if we have enough money. We need an enemy controller. I can spell controller right this time. Let's see. I need a bullet controller. I think that's good for a bit. So tower spawn, game controller, enemy controller, bullet controller, and we can just have tower right now. I'm gonna name this one cannon controller. So in this game, we're gonna have 3 different towers. We're gonna have a cannon, mortar, and a shoddy, so like a close range one that shoots a bunch. I have a long range that shoots like an AOE type thing, and we're gonna have just a regular, shoots a single thing but has like a faster rate of fire than everything else. So let's see. I'm gonna make the tower spawner right now. Drag this sprite in. Oh, make sure its Z position is 0 so you can actually see it. Yeah. I'm gonna put, let's do it like 0.5. Might be too small. 7.5. Something like that maybe. I'm gonna add our tower spawner. I'm gonna add a collider 2D. It's gonna be a trigger collider. And I don't know which layer it should be on. I don't think it matters for now. So then I'm gonna go to did I not make a folder for scripts? Did I just do that all in the other project on accident? I think I might have. Shit. Shit, I did. My bad. Folder. Actually, I added it, so it exists somewhere. Oh, there we go. They're all in the wrong folder, but they still exist. There we go. Sorry about that. Cool. So we're gonna go to the tower spawn, and I'm just gonna say something like void on mouse down. So this gets called when you click on the object that this is attached to. So it can detect, yeah, GUI elements or colliders. So because it has a trigger collider on it, then we should be able to click on it and it does stuff. I'm just making it trigger so it doesn't actually collide with anything in the actual game. I'm gonna say on mouse down. Let's just test it for now. Spawn tower. So we can test it. We can actually have a game controller that keeps track of what tower we need to spawn first. Just see if this works for now. Yep, spawn tower, so it does work, cool. So, I'm gonna go into the game controller. I'm gonna say public game object tower. I'll say public void spawn tower. Do this later on, but we'll do float cost of a tower. We'll say instantiate actually we can just do that in the other script too, huh? Okay. I'm gonna do something a little different. Game controller. Find it on awake. define top-down game controller. And when we spawn the tower, we're gonna debug that, and we'll say instantiate controller.tower at transform.position, transform.rotation, and then we'll deactivate the current game object. Because we don't want to have to, we don't want to have this object still be able to spawn more towers if we already did that. So I'm just gonna make a tower. I'll try to call it cannon since we know what it's gonna be, and I'll just drag in the cannon turret. Make sure it's 0, 0, 0. I'm gonna add another sprite to it and do cannon base. Make sure this one's order in layer is 1, so it's above the base. And I'll take that. So that's our tower. So I'm gonna drag this into the prefabs folder. And then I'm gonna make a game controller. Add the TD game controller script. And then I'm gonna drag in tower right there. The cost is gonna change when we click on different things, so we'll worry about that later. But if we click, it should spawn a tower and deactivate the, yep. So we can spawn, let's see. So let's make the tower, do something. I'm gonna go in here, we're gonna do float shoot speed, public float rotation, sorry, rotation speed. I don't think we need a rigid body. It's not actually touching anything. I don't think we need a game control reference either. We need public game object. Actually, let's do this. Transform target. So if an enemy gets close enough to it, then we're gonna start attacking. So we'll do public float attack range. Basically, we're gonna have a collider on this. Make it a circle collider. Yeah, so we're just gonna make the circle collider like size 4, maybe? I don't know. Gonna add the TD, sorry, the cannon. Shoot speed, rotation speed, and attack range. Give me a second. So basically, you can just tweak these in the inspector if you want and save to prefabs. But say if you want to make your towers upgradable later on or something, then you would want to be able to change this when you're in game. So instead of setting it like this, I'm gonna make a variable and then set the radius when we instantiate it. We can just update it in a little function in there too. So if I set its attack range to 1 or something, then the radius is 1, attack range is 4. We're gonna set this to be what this value is when it spawns. We're just going to do void on enable, and we'll do get component circle collider 2D dot radius equals attack range. And We'll do a few things to check for the enemy. So we'll do an on collision enter. I guess on trigger enter, because it's a trigger collider. 2D if collision dot compare tag is an enemy and target equals to null. Target equals collision dot transform. So if we don't have a current target, then our target's going to be the thing we're hitting. I'm going to copy paste this 2 more times, because we need to do on trigger enter when it first enters, and on trigger stay if it stays in there. Because say we have, let me do a little example real quick. I'll make an enemy sprite. Say we have an enemy, also a very big enemy, Jesus. We're too small. Say we have an enemy, and it goes into range of the player, but then it this enemy exits. Then if something's already in the collider still, then we want to update that to be the new enemy. So we have to have, when we exit the collider, we set our target to null. And if anything is still in the collider, then we update it to be the new target. So I'm going to do that real quick. Step 1, right? Yeah. So we're going to go on trigger stay if our other tag is enemy, and if target is null, then our target's going to be that one. Yeah, so that's good. If we exit and it's enemy, and if target is my script was the wrong one. There we go. If our target is null, we update it. If our target is exiting the collider and our target is not null, if collision dot compare tag, do this, and target equals collision dot transform. More accurate way to test it. So if something exits the collider and it has an enemy tag and it's also the current target, then we're gonna set this to null. There we go. So on trigger stay, if we hit an enemy and our target's null, then we're gonna update it to be that one. Yeah, that should work. So let me try this. I'm going to add the enemy tag to this. I'm going to add a box collider to this. I'll make it like 0.987. Yeah. 0.6 and 0.9 or something. Yeah. So I'm going to duplicate it. So right now we'll see, yeah, this audio updates to be the attack range size. And if we go in range, can I make this public? Did not make it. Let's see for a second here. I think rigid body is the problem here. I'll also do one more thing. I will say if target is not equal to null. Debug.log target.game object. So if we have a target, then we're gonna just show it. Just say what it is real quick. Oh. Why is this kind of not a trigger collider? Sorry. This needs to be trigger and override. There we go. Yep, so now we have an enemy. Cool. Cool. And then I'm gonna drag the other enemy in there. And then this one's target is still that first enemy, but when we drag it out, way out, then it should, yeah, so it nullified, but it didn't take this one. Enemy tag. Oh, because it didn't move at all. Weird. I guess it doesn't register if it doesn't move while it's in the collider. Weird. Okay. So it works at least. So what we want to do now is say if target is not equal to null, then we're going to look at the target. We're going to use rotation speed to rotate toward the current target. I think we did something, what, player controller? Yep, right here. So I'm going to copy this thing. Instead of looking at the mouse, we're going to look at the enemy that we currently are targeting. Cannon controller. Just going to paste that in there. Rotation speed. We're going to change this to be target transform dot position, I think, minus transform dot position. I think that's right. See if it works. So first we're gonna update. Let's make shoot speed like 0.5 or something. Let's make rotation speed like 5. And then I'm gonna overwrite it. Also gonna move this to a decent position. Oops, do not duplicate it. Shit. Cool. Yeah, so it rotates and looks at current enemy. If I move this one in there, and then this one goes out, then updates to that one. Yep, so that works. Cool. So one thing you might see is the whole tower is moving. We just want the top part to move. So let's fix that real quick. So I'm gonna do public transform child. I'm gonna do a late update. Child.transform.rotation equals quaternion.identity. So every frame, at the end of the frame, we're going to update the child's rotation to be the default, which is 0, 0, 0. So that should hopefully fix it. Let's see. I just need to drag in the child transform, override again, and then, yep. So our turret looks around at the enemy, and we can change rotation speed to make it slower. Cool. That works. So class with the enemy. Let's make it actually shoot now. So we're gonna do same thing as the other games. Cools, and if it's this, set this. Say cools equals I'm gonna only reduce the cooldown if we have an enemy in range, though. Though you can do it either way if you want. Greater than 0, cools minus equals time dot delta time. If cools is less than or equal to 0, then you shoot. So I'm gonna make a function void shoot. Always do that. And I'm just gonna instantiate a bullet at transform.position with our rotation. So I'm gonna get a reference to the bullet. Bullet at transform.position, transform.rotation. We have a bullet controller. We can basically copy it from anything else we did. Just go to the shmup and do that. Copy it over. So instead, this time we're gonna grab from the tower defense enemy controller. We have to implement that, so let's make it real quick. Public void take damage float mount. So now we just need to add this to a game object, and it should do everything automatically. Yeah, I think that's all right. So create sprite, call it just bullet. There we go. I'm gonna do the Top Gun bullet. I'll do orange, why not? Let's see if I can actually see it now. It's kind of really small. A little bit bigger. Add circle collider to it. Trigger, I'm gonna change its size to like 0.1. I'm gonna add the TD bullet controller to it. Speed was like 800 for the other ones, so I'll do that. And then rigid body. 2D with 0 gravity scale. Save it in there. And then drag it in, the bolt reference. I don't think we set the shooting, did we? No, so we're gonna instantiate a bullet, and we're also going to set our cooldown to be shoot speed. Oops. I think that's all we need. So it's going to give an error because there's no enemy controller attached to this, so just not let it hit. It's fine. So it shoots, and then yeah, the error. Yep, cool. So let me delete that one. I'm gonna add the enemy controller to it. Tower defense enemy controller. And make it a prefab. So when we open it, I'm just gonna do very simple. So I'm gonna do rigid body 2D void wake. Rigid body. Say public float speed. Public float max HP. Float HP. HP equals max HP. I'm gonna get. Let's see how to do this last time. I think I had to get a reference to a list of waypoints. Okay, I just saved it all to the game controller. So let's do that real quick. Public transform waypoints. Let's see. Because we're going to be spawning the enemies in the map, we don't want to have to update every time. So we're just going to save it in the game controller, and then when the enemy needs it, we're going to give it the waypoint, the next spot it should move towards. So we're going to go transform. What's waypoint? Yeah, waypoints. Okay, cool. So int current waypoint. When we enable it, we'll say, wow, good typing. Current waypoint equals 0. And we'll say waypoint equals, gotta get a game controller reference. So we're going to go in here and we're going to say our current waypoint is going to be game controller dot waypoints current waypoint. And then we'll say update. I'm going to copy over from the cannon. So our enemies are going to rotate towards the current waypoint, and they're going to just push forward. And this target, so it's consistent with other stuff. Public, I need a rotation speed. So then we're just going to do bod.add force transform.up times speed times time delta time. One more thing we need to check. I'm going to save the current distance to the waypoint as a float. We're going to say distance equals vector2 dot distance from our current position to the target position. I'll say if distance is less than or equal to like 0.01, just in case it never gets to 0, then we'll just check this instead of 0. Because I don't know if it, like, if it's super precise about it, it might not ever get to 0, like the exact same X position as something else, depending on how fast we're updating it. So I'll just check close to it, 0.01 or something. If distance is less than 0, then we'll say if current waypoint is less than controller dot waypoints dot length -1. So if we still have waypoints to go through, because if at the end of the list we want to take damage and destroy the enemy, I'll do this, else, let me comment this actually, if there are still waypoints to move towards, if there's no waypoints left, image the player and destroy self. So if current waypoint is less than that, then we're going to do current waypoint plus plus and target equals const dot waypoints current waypoint. I'll just say destroy game object. It's fine. We'll just set to active, to false, whatever. Actually, I'll just copy paste that over here. Let's type the whole thing over again. There we go. So then it's going to move toward the next waypoint. And when it gets there, it's going to update and then keep moving until it gets to the end of the map. At a speed of like 500 or something. Linear drag is going to be like 7. I don't know. Max HP, let's do like 20. Rotation speed is like 6. I don't know. And then I'm going to make a game object. I'm going to call this waypoints. And 0 its position out. Add a child to it. I'm going to click up here in the top right, the little cube. I'm going to give it a little icon so I know what it looks like. If I can see where it is. And then I'm just going to drag it over. 3.5. I'm going to duplicate it, drag it down, duplicate it, drag it over, duplicate it, drag it up, and then all the way off of the map. So it's going to spawn over here, and then its first waypoint is going to be this one. So I'm going to set a spawn position. Gonna put it off screen over here-ish. Make it bigger so I can tell what it actually is in the inspector. So we'll spawn it here and it's gonna move right, then rotate, then move down, then rotate left, then move that way, then there and there. So I'm gonna click on the game controller. I'm gonna click the little lock icon in the top right. I'm gonna shift click all the waypoints that are childed to the waypoint here. I'm going to drag them in, and then if you go into the game controller, you can see there's all waypoints now. Cool. So this should have, yeah, let's see if it gives me any errors when I run it. Oh, yep, there you go, too fast. Cool. So I have to modify how much we're checking. Yep, so when it updates and moves to the next one. So we want it to not turn quickly like that. So we're gonna fix that in a second. Also, our turret's it's a little too fast for our turret to actually hit. So we're gonna fix that too. I'm gonna down its speed to like 400 maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna apply it. And I'm just going to do one more thing. I'm going to do bool can move equals true. do all this. If distance is less than that, if can move, then we're gonna push the thing up. If our distance is less than that, then we're gonna set can move equals false. Invoke can move after like 1 second or something. Make a function for that right now. Void can move. All this does is reset can move to be true. So if we get close enough to the waypoint, we're gonna stop moving for a second, and then we're gonna set our thing to be able to move again, and then we're just gonna keep pushing it forward. So this makes it so that when we get close enough, it just stops and then rotates, and then it starts moving again. So it should move, stop, turn, and then move. Looks a little better. We can add more drag so it doesn't, yeah, so it looks a little better. Cool. Like 9 drag or something, I don't know. Just not what I wanted to do. Get out of here. So let's see if this works. So last we want it to do is if it gets to the last waypoint, it's going to hurt the enemy or the player, whatever. So we're going to go to the player, the game controller. We're going to say public float max HP, float HP, say void awake, I guess is fine. Delete that thing. HP equals max HP. I'll make a void take damage. Void take damage. We'll just do HP minus equals amount. And that's all we need to do. Let's do one thing real quick, just to make sure this doesn't hurt the player more than once. So when we enable it, we'll say has hurt equals false equals false. And if not has hurt, game controller dot take damage. I don't have a damage value yet, so I will put that up here. Public float damage. And then besides that, we need to do take damage in here. So HP minus equals amount. If HP is less than or equal to 0, then do that. Yeah, so we can take damage now. Let's make a simple UI so we can see it. I'll make an image. I'll center it to the top. Make it like 500 by 20 or something, I don't know. Same as before, failed, we're gonna do horizontal so we can drag. You can tell if you're losing health or not. Make it red. I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna put this above the other one. I'm gonna make it a darker, so that as you're dying, you can see the bar go down. And then I'm going to go back in the game controller. I'm going to say using Unity engine.ui. Say public image health image. when I start, I'll do health image dot fill amount equals mathf dot burp health image dot fill amount to HP over max HP by a factor of lerp speed times time delta time. So when we start, we're going to update our health, and then when we get hurt, we're going to also update our health. That should be all we need, I think. Let me see. So game controller, let's drag in. Drag in the health image. Lerp speed's going to be like 7 or something. Max HP's got to be like 100 maybe. And we gotta wait for this whole thing to play out. Tree, can it die? Wait a minute. It's not taking damage, is it? Oh, it did die. Okay, shit. Let's do this. Damage is like 15. Disable this. Do one more thing so we don't have to watch this for 10 minutes. If we're in the editor, if we put like if you push 2, it'll like double our speed. Time dot time scale times equals 2f. We'll duplicate this, so if we push 1, then our time scale is just going to be set to 1f. So if we hit the 1 key, our time's going to be 1. If we hit the 2 key, it's going to be doubled every time we push it. Not the best way to do it, but we don't want to sit here for 10 minutes testing this. Oh, and then it breaks. Cool. Weird. Let me change the amount a little bit. Distance is less than 25. You can also make little colliders and do it that way too if you want, but I like doing it this way, so. Yeah, I think it was because it was moving too fast too. So if we get to the end of the map, then we lose a little bit of health. Yeah, so not even any health at all, but it's fine. Make this bar smaller, it should be more noticeable too. Also, that's one enemy, and he's pretty weak in the first place, so probably fine. But yeah, so it moves along the path, and if it gets to the end, then we take damage. Our turret can move around and shoot. Next, we want to set it up so that we have to pay money for the towers. And if we don't have enough money, it won't let us spawn a tower. So, I'm going to go to the game controller. Current tower cost. Not public. Public float money. And we need a UI for the money too. And we need the enemies to give you money when they die. So public void give money. Money plus equals amount float amount. And we'll just do the opposite of this when we charge for a tower, so that'll be fine. So we'll do like, actually, let's make this public, but let's just hide it in the inspector. Yeah, so we don't have to see it. gonna go to the tower spawn. We have the game controller reference, so we'll just need to check if we have enough money now. If cont.money is greater than or equal to cont.current tower cost. Then we want to do all this stuff. A little thing we can do also is a mouse over. Yeah, let's do that. If cont.money is greater than or equal to cont.current tower cost. If we found enough money, then we're gonna change the color to like yellow or something. So we're gonna get the sprite renderer. And we're gonna say if we have enough money, then ren.color equals color dot. Let's make it green. Else ren.color equals color dot red. If we have enough money, it's gonna be a green highlighted. If we don't, it's gonna be red. So I'm gonna do mouse exit now, and I'll just say ren.color equals color dot white. When we exit, we want to change the color back to white so we're not like clicking all the time. I'm going to make my tower spawn into prefab. I'm just going to fix the size a little bit. It's like 1.75, 0.75. I'm going to drag it into prefabs and just duplicate it a bunch. Well, that's weird. Okay. I mean, you can make it look pretty later, but I'm just gonna make these unorganized as hell. Cool. So, I don't think we need any references to anything. So if we highlight it, so you have enough money now, click and I spawn. Except for, I don't think I reduced the money at all, did I? Also, it's not quite updating right. Weird. I think I know how to fix that. So I will do instantiate, and I'll do cont dot give money. I'll just do negative cont dot cost or something. So we'll give it a negative money amount. Actually, I'll do this above. There we go. And then I want to see how much money I have, so I'm gonna do public text money text, and I'll update every frame. I'll just say money text dot text equals money plus money dot to string. Didn't update it, right? Duh. So I'm gonna add to the canvas text. I'm gonna just align it to the top. I'll put it down by like 100 or something. I don't know. Change to pride. Change its size to like 24. Change it to overflow and overflow. Yeah, I'm gonna change its color to like yellowish too, I think. I'll do money text. And then in the game controller, I can just drag in money text. And let's do starting money is like 300 or something. And we need to update our tower cost. So let's see, game object tower. So public void update tower, and I'll say current tower cost equals cost or something. We'll do a script later where we can actually like grab from the cannon how much money it costs and then go from there. So let's just do this. Float amount, and I'll do current tower cost equals amount. I'll just call it update tower with like 100. F just in case. So we have $300, so we can spawn 3 towers. So now it should highlight, yeah, like a red. So we can't spawn any more towers if we click at all. Oh, I remember what I did last time. So the problem right now is when we're clicking, when there's nothing on the screen, it's fine, there's no problem. But if we click next to something that already has a tower, it starts to get a little buggy because I'm highlighting it, but it's only half the time updating the highlight. So this is because our collider for the tower is being hit instead of the thing underneath it, which is the tower spawn. So I'm just going to go into the tower itself, and I'm going to add its layer to ignore raycast. That way it won't detect the mouse being entering the collision with the tower's circle collider. So this should, yeah, easy fix. Already works. So this dude's kind of strong. I'll make him a little bit weaker, but what should the bullets do right now? Although they do 1 damage, that's why. Enemy has 15, 20 health, and the bullets do 1 damage. So I'll make it do like 4 damage. I don't know. So we just need to make it so the enemies give the player money when they die. Also, I'm gonna make it so that the guns aren't completely accurate, so they'll shoot a little to the side. So I'll do like float accuracy, and then when we instantiate it, we'll do quaternion.rotation times quaternion.Euler 00 random.range from negative accuracy to accuracy, and then parentheses close. Twice? Yeah, twice. One more thing is we're gonna do public float gold drop or something, or money drop. So when we die, we're going to, sorry, when the enemy dies, when the enemy dies, we're gonna give the player gold. Has hurt equals that. I'm gonna say controller dot give money drop. We can make this every single time you hit with a bullet by just taking it out of here. So every time you get a hit, it'll give you money. But we want it to only happen when you kill the enemy. I'm hoping this only gets called one time. No, I'll just do this too. I'll do end. Same thing as last time. If has hurt. I don't think this will mess. I don't think this will mess up the other stuff, but we'll see. So if we haven't given the player money, then we're going to give them money and then set this to true, so we don't do it all at once. It should still work since this isn't called if this is called, and vice versa. It should be fine. So I just need to update the enemy to give some amount of money. Let's do like 25 or something. It's $25. Yeah, so I can just drag them in. Every time they die, they give money. It's only happening the one time. Also, I can just enable these again, can't I? Nope, just keep on working. Cool. So next up, we're gonna add more towers. We're gonna add more enemies, and we're gonna add wave spawning, which is gonna be more complicated than the last time. In the shmup, we just spawned an enemy every so many seconds. This time though, we're gonna spawn an enemy, or like we're gonna spawn waves of enemies this time. So like the first wave is gonna spawn like between 2 and 5 enemies, and it'll spawn them like a second or so apart from each other. And then it's gonna take like 10 seconds till the next wave, and then at the next wave it's gonna spawn another like 3 to 6 or like 4 to 7, and it'll keep getting harder and harder and spawning more enemies until you have like 30 enemies spawning per wave, like a second apart from each other, and then you have to, things get hectic and you have to spawn the right towers and stuff like that. So I'm gonna leave that for next time though, because I don't want to start and forget where I'm ending off. So we'll do that next time. That's pretty good for one session. We started with nothing, and now we have a little, mostly tower defense game. But yeah, any questions or concerns so far? If not, then I will hang out for a little bit, but that's all for the day.